Things are starting to heat up in the NFL. The playoff picture is starting to take shape, and we're here to review Week 14 in the NFL. Kyle Gaffner is here. I'm Adrian Fedke. Our power rankings got knocked out of order. There's been a lot of craziness this weekend. What do you think, Kyle?
Hey, Adrian, good to be back. It is. It's so tough to pick these power rankings anymore. Like, you get real stuck on one team. You think they're really going to start to take off, and then they completely go backwards. I don't know what team to go with anymore. I mean, it's so inconsistent at most of these teams. It's frustrating. You want to see these teams take off, but they don't.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So here's what we'll do. We'll just quickly go into it. We'll name our five. And then kind of like last week, but last week we made playoff predictions last week, but this week we'll just kind of get into a couple games and talk playoff picture in general. So for me, I got New England number 1, I've got Dallas number 2, Kansas City number 3, Oakland number 4, and you know what? Fuck it. God damn it, I cursed. I'll just say a tie for number 5, Green Bay and Pittsburgh. I took Seattle out after that performance. So that's my 5. Dallas, I guess we'll talk about them right after you do your rankings.
Okay. Mine is similar to yours, just tweaked a little bit. I've got Patriots number 1. I've got Kansas City number 2, Dallas number 3, Oakland at number 4, and then I got Detroit at number 5.
Okay. Wow, you got the Lions up there. All right. Okay, so I want to start with the Cowboys because, first of all, these Cowboys fans, dude, I was just astonished by how many start Romo tweets I saw last night after the game. So 2 weeks ago, Dak Prescott is a Hall of Famer, and now 2 weeks later, fast forward, he's got 2 bad games. He's a rookie quarterback. This is what happens as a rookie. All of a sudden, they want him benched, and they want Romo back. Oh, shaking my head.
I don't get it. It's like they're all a bunch of Judases out there. You've heard nothing but great things talked about this kid. Oh, he's a revelation. He's the new franchise quarterback of this team. The hell with Tony Romo. And then after one little bump in the road, they're ready to give Romo back the reins. It makes absolutely no sense. This kid got you here for a reason. He is going to be your franchise quarterback. You just have bad games. He's a rookie. You're putting him on a different pedestal because the success that he's had. He's going to have a little bit of an issue. It happens. But you stick with him.
Yeah. I mean, this is what happens to rookie quarterbacks. He wasn't going to go through the entire season without making mistakes. It's just impossible. So he goes 17 of 37, 165 yards, touchdown, 2 interceptions. Was he atrocious last night? You bet. He was terrible. He was awful. But by no means am I putting Tony Romo back with 3 weeks left to go in the season when you lost 10-7 on the road against the Giants. I mean, you could actually take some positives away from this game because if it wasn't for Odell Beckham's touchdown, Dallas's defense really played well last night. Defense is kind of underrated. And, I mean, they have a recipe of success for winning, with Zeke Elliott as your running back and play-action game with Dak and shit like that. But, yeah, I wouldn't be freaking out if I was Dallas fans. I mean, but then again, I never thought they were going to the Super Bowl this year.
Neither did I. And I got to give kudos to New York's defense. They played outstanding last night. I mean, they really had a recipe to upset that offense, get into Dak a little bit, and kind of shut down Zeke. But the defense of Dallas did play really great. They had 4 or 5 turnovers. I think they picked off Eli 3 times and forced a fumble. If it wasn't for that, the Giants would have scored at least 20 points, 21 points off of that. So they really stepped up where they needed to be. But we'll see what happens. I didn't really have this team going anywhere, and they surprised me. This seems like a great recipe. You got that great offensive line. You got that outstanding running back. And is this going to happen now for Dak? Is he going to continue to regress? Is this his regression point? Or is he going to bounce back and really tear the lid off this thing?
Yeah, that's the question I have too, because if you look back at what Wentz did, Carson, it took him a month plus to get out of his funk. He had a good game yesterday against Washington. Not a great Washington defense by any means, but Wentz was really on. His ball placement was superb. He was feeling pressure this time. It wasn't like the last couple of weeks where he was taking off out of the pocket when there was no pressure. He actually, his poise was a lot better this time. His pocket presence was a lot better. So I don't know. I mean, it'll be interesting to see, but I'm not going back to Romo with 3 weeks left in the season when he hasn't played all year. You just can't do that at this point. You made the commitment to Dak. This was your decision, and you got to stick with it. This is what they did. This was their decision. You can't go back to Tony right now.
No, you can't. He's rusty. He hasn't played all year. He has no continuity with these wide receivers at all, even though they've played with each other for a couple years. You just can't do that. You roll the dice. If you were thinking about doing this, you should have done this in week 7 or 8 when Tony had come back. Then you get a little bit more repetition in there with him, with the first team, but you don't do this. You stick with Dak, and you roll the dice and see what happens.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so this is a point we've been making on shows prior to this, with the youthfulness of this team. You got 2 rookies there, Zeke and Dak Prescott. Are they ready for the postseason? Are they ready for this different style? Because I was getting into arguments with Cowboys fans. They're like, well, these rookies are different. No rookie is different. You never see teams that really make their first postseason appearance in a while. Now, I get it, like Dallas was in the postseason 2 years ago, but this situation with these 2 rookies, it's a different animal. And to give another example of this, we saw it from the Raiders on Thursday night with Derek Carr and how bad he was. So the pressure is starting to mount. These youthful kids are not used to this type of pressure, and we're seeing a regression in their play. So this is something where I really, really believe in experience. You really have to experience it first before you really take the next step forward, and that's how I've always felt about it.
Yeah, I agree with you too. It's a whole different monster when it comes playoff time. Everybody is slated 0-0. Records and everything go out the window. It doesn't matter. And this is where experience is going to come into key. These players like Kansas City and the Patriots, they've all been there. They know what to do. They have no jitters. They don't have the butterflies like these kids do. They're new to this. So they have all this pressure mounted up on them like, oh, this is it. If we get knocked out, we have to look towards the next season. Well, these other guys have experienced losing. And this is where youth could really hurt a team like Oakland or Dallas that haven't been in the playoffs in quite some time, but with Tony Romo leading the helm. I thought that I don't think that Dallas is even going to make the NFC Championship because I think it's going to affect Dak to a T, that the pressure is going to get to him and he's not going to be able to perform, much like what happened last night.
Yeah, it depends who they play, I think, because if Green Bay sneaks in, Dallas is not beating Green Bay. I don't see it.
To a T.
Yeah. If they play like a Detroit or something, I think they can beat the Lions. The Giants, I think, might have their number. That would be interesting to see if they played in the divisional playoffs. We obviously know what happened back in 2007.
Mm-hmm.
So it really depends on who they play.
The pressure is going to get to him, and he's not going to be able to perform, much like what happened. That wasn't me talking. I don't know what happened.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know what the hell's going on right now. Yeah, our it's like I think our stream might be screwed up. We'll see. You hear me now though? I'm fine.
I've been hearing you fine. It's just my voice of what I said 5 minutes ago is talking to you.
Yeah, I noticed that. Yeah, that was a weird glitch. It screwed me all up, but yeah, we're fine. Did you get to hear what I said? Do you have a rebuttal?
Yeah, I heard.
Okay, what teams do you think they can beat? Okay, like say, because like if they play, say, Tampa Bay, I think they can beat Tampa Bay. They play Detroit, I think they can beat Detroit. But the teams that would scare me if I'm Dallas, Green Bay, definitely. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers, you don't want to play him. We'll see about Seattle. I don't think Seattle's going to face them until an NFC Championship game. It looks like. So, what teams really can beat them? For me, it's the Giants and the Packers. But what other teams can really beat them? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I think you're right because they'll probably be number 1 and 2 seed with Dallas and Seattle. Green Bay is cooking right now. They are on fire. They play really well in December and January, and Aaron Rodgers is one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And when he gets going and he's determined, he got really mad a couple weeks ago He always has that comment, relax. Well, he was just stone pissed on what was happening with this team, and he came out firing. Look what they've been doing. I mean, you don't want to face a team that is cooking like this because look what happened that you had said. Look at the Giants when they went to their Super Bowl runs. 9-7, they won 3 straight road games and went and took that all the way to the Super Bowl. That's why I say record don't matter. As long as you get into the dance, that's all that matters. And if you're a hot on play, it can take you a long way.
Here's the thing, though. Is Green Bay too far behind?
I think they might be. They're going to have to have a little luck because they're, 2 games behind Detroit right now in their division.
Yeah. I mean, the wild card, I believe they're a game back, but that'll be a little bit tougher because, well, not that it's tougher, but you got teams that you got to leapfrog. And like in the North, it's basically they better hope that the Lions choke.
Lose that, and it might happen now that Stafford really hurt his finger on the throwing hand, so we don't know how that's going to affect him. He's that whole offense right there. He keeps that engine going.
Yeah, I got all the games in front of me because we did this list last week. So Detroit, it does get tough at New York, at Dallas, Green Bay at home, and at New York is the Giants. So that's a tough 3-game stretch right there for the Lions. I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility that they lose all 3 of them.
It's not, and the inexperience of Tampa Bay could come into play too, where Jameis goes on a 2-game losing streak and they could get into the playoffs that way. They just need a little bit of luck to roll their way for them to get in, but it's going to be a close race going into the NFC champion or playoffs.
Yeah, we'll see about Washington. That's another team to look at. So I mean, there's a couple teams they would have to leapfrog in the wild card, but if Green Bay gets in, it looks like. They got Demarius Randall back in the secondary, and it looks like they're playing a lot better. I don't know if he's really the difference, whether or not it's, they made some schematical changes or what. I mean, I know Randall's pretty good, but what they did yesterday to Russell Wilson, 5 interceptions, that's incredible.
Yes, it was. And the pass rush was getting to Russell. That's where Seattle's weakness was breaking down. That awful offensive line is starting to come in. They got Clay Matthews back healthy. Demarius Randall, they got rid of Gunther. I know he was a problem corner over there that was getting lit up every week.
Yeah.
So it's not another realm of possibility. They'd be a team to watch, though. They are a scary team.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's talk a little Seahawks now, okay? So you lose Earl Thomas. All of a sudden their defense looks a lot worse yesterday. Whether or not that was a coincidence or whether or not they just shit the bed, whatever. But man, Seattle's a team, man. When they play well, they play really, really well. But when they're cold like what they were yesterday, they look just atrocious.
They look like they did in the beginning of the season, Adrian. They didn't look like the team that played last week that completely dominated. They're a great home team, we know that, but losing a key cog like Earl Thomas is huge. You still have Cam back there and you still got, Sherman, but I think that's still a hole, and Aaron Rodgers exploited it yesterday. They had a young kid back there in Terrell that it just got killed. I mean, the Roadrunner does so much back there, just like the Honey Badger does with the Cardinals. And you saw what happened when they lost him last year. They completely just fell apart. And I think he's that key piece back there to go along with the Legion of Boom. He's the leader back there, other than Russell. It's him that really keeps that unit together.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what they do down the stretch. All right. So who do you think gets that last wild card spot? Because I think with the Giants' victory yesterday, I think they pretty much stamped the number 5 seed. So
they have it.
Yeah. So it's probably going to be between Tampa Bay. Who else we got? Tampa Bay, Washington,
and Minnesota's still in it too.
Yeah, I feel like Minnesota's done, but they're I guess they're hanging around.
Because them and Green Bay got the same record. They're both 7-6, so there could be a possible chance they get in. But if they do, they're going to get smoked. They're in that realm of possibility. But I kind of like what the Bucs are doing.
Yeah, that was my pick last week. I had the Bucs getting the 6th seed, but it's funny because I didn't have the Giants making the postseason when I did these predictions last week, and my mind is now changed with that win against Dallas. So because they played, it's Dallas at home, Detroit at home, at Philly, at Washington. I thought that was going to be a tough little stretch. I thought they were going to go 1-3. That's not going to happen anymore. So they're going to get to at least 10-6, and that's probably your 5 seed. So Tampa Bay was my number 6 seed when I did this last week. I love the way they're playing right now.
They're playing amazing, and I was kind of shocked. He's coming into his own. Mr. Jameis Winston's playing real well. If they could get just another compliment with him, but they got Braith out there. They got Mike Evans, as we know. That the muscle hamster's getting healthy, so they got a decent run game. But that defense is starting to play really well.
Yeah. No, they really are. And they got some pieces there, man. They've always had some guys. Levante David, I mean, no one knows who he is, but he's so freaking good.
Stud linebacker. You got Gerald McCoy there.
They got a lot of pieces. Yeah. So, Tampa Bay looks good. Another team I want to talk about are the Steelers. So Le'Veon Bell, 200. What is it? What do you have? 236 yards rushing yesterday. Yeah. So they're getting hot right now. And if there is one team that I think can beat New England, it is Pittsburgh. Kansas City, I don't think they have the style to beat them, but Pittsburgh, I think, can, because New England can't get any pressure on the quarterback. And when you let Big Ben just sit back there all day and scan the field, I think he can hang with Brady in a shootout. And that type of game, that's the only team I think that can take on Pittsburgh. Maybe Oakland too, but I don't think Oakland is ready for a playoff run. So Pittsburgh is the team I'm looking at. I like Kansas City though to get to the AFC Championship. So that's the thing. I don't know if Pittsburgh will even get there.
They might not. It could come down to Andy facing Mike Tomlin, and boy, would that be exciting, that explosive offense with that tenacious defense there, because they're starting to get healthy on the defensive side of the ball. Justin Houston came back 2 weeks ago. He's been looking real – he's got fresh legs. You got Dee Ford coming back healthy too, so they got all the pass rushers, Tamba Hali, Eric Berry. I mean, they are just loaded over there. But I'm surprised with their offense, this kid, Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek Hill, yeah.
Wow, like what a joy to watch. I don't know if you caught that Thursday night game, but
I watched it. Oh yeah.
Wow. Burners for days. He reminds me of a kid they used to have back in 03 who was the X Factor in Dante Hall.
Oh yeah, the human joystick.
Oh my God, dude. He was just so fun to watch. And he reminds me a lot of that kid. He's got speed for days. He's real quick off the line. He's got quick feet. He just adds another dynamic of speed to that team. Now, they're not the most sexiest offense, but they might be able to done. That defense will carry them a long way.
They got Jeremy Maclin back, too, on offense. So they were really starting to get everybody back. So I really think they're the second best team in the AFC. But Pittsburgh, I think, is the team that can beat New England. So that's like an interesting dynamic there, and definitely a sexy matchup in the divisional round if you see KC and Pittsburgh there. So, all right, let's talk about your Lions, because you had them number 5 in your power rankings. I'm clearly not showing them any love because I have like no faith in them whatsoever, but they just keep winning games.
I'm impressed. They started off terrible, 0-3. We thought they were going to be putrid this year. I think we both had them winning like 4 games. But
yeah, we haven't won many.
God, Matthew Stafford has put this team on his back. I mean, it's all him making all these plays. They got a rejuvenated line, and they don't have Megatron anymore. So who is his go-to guy? They go out and sign Marvin Jones. He's been big. What's his face? He played for Seattle. I cannot think of his name. The wide out, Golden Tate.
Golden Tate, yeah.
Golden Tate was non-existent for a couple games, 6-7 games, and then he's been turning it on. But they really haven't had a run game there. But fourth quarter comes down, and this kid just drives them down the field every single time. He's a playmaker. He does it with his legs. He's got a rocket arm. He's intelligent. I've been a Stafford fan since he's come into the league. I know a lot of people don't like him. They think he's indecisive. Yeah, he's done it, though. He's led this team to a 9-4 record.
Yeah, he's had a good year. Yeah, I'll give him that. Yeah, he's so like inconsistent. Like 1 year he'll do this sort of thing, and then like a year like what was it last year? I don't know. He'll throw a ton of picks. Like he'll have those moments and he'll have those seasons where if he goes through the year and he doesn't throw a lot of picks, the numbers look great. He looks great, and he can lead the team on game-winning drives in the fourth quarter. But then there's other years where he just shits the bed. So. That's kind of my thing with him, but when he's great and he's on his game, he looks really damn good out there.
And he relies a lot on his arm talent. He thinks he can just throw it through anybody, much like Brett Favre.
Yeah.
And you can't do that all the time. But a lot of people thought Megatron had made him, and he did. You could always just see it was an easy offense that the Lions were going to do. They're going to bomb it up the Megatron, but it's not like that anymore. He doesn't really have that stud receiver out there. So he spread the ball out, and Eric Ebron's really starting to come on too, which is good to see. He was a top 10 pick that kind of looked like he was going to be a bust, but it's just a continuity of this team. And you got Ziggy Ansah on the other side, and Darius Slay has come up huge for this. They haven't had a shutdown corner in God knows how long. I don't even know if they've ever had a shutdown corner, not as long as I can remember. But the defense is playing well too.
Yeah, Darius Slay is very, very good. People don't know how good he is. He's very good out there. All right, so we'll talk about one more thing and then we'll get out of here. Dude, I'm really hoping this show works because I got a bad feeling it didn't. just from the recipe of disaster that we've had before without live viewers. Like the viewer thing isn't showing up on the bottom. So I'm hoping this works.
God.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see if it does or not. Okay, so I wanted to talk about Jeff Fisher right now. So it's about damn time. God. Yeah, so that's like the best thing that could have happened for the Rams to get rid of him. You know, how he is like the Sam Bradford of head coaches. The guy is mediocre at best, and he keeps getting chance after chance after chance after chance. And the Rams finally had enough of him. I don't know whether the 6 touchdowns the Falcons put up on them yesterday, or whether or not it's because he thinks Danny Woodhead got traded to the Falcons. I don't know, but he is gone.
Yeah, and days before or after they gave him an extension.
Yeah, but that extension, I guess, like I don't know technically what happened with that, but apparently that extension was before the season started, but like for whatever reason it wasn't announced till.
Oh,
I don't know. You got to read what Adam Schefter wrote.
Oh, I thought they just gave it to him after his mediocre 4-8 record. I'm like, okay,
that's what I thought at first, and then I'll have to send you a link if I can find it. But yeah.
Okay. Yeah, he needed to go, but Les Snead needs to get fired too. They just have to clean that organization out. The GM has to go along with Jeff Fisher. They got to get new blood in there.
Yeah.
You got to get new blood for this kid Goff, even though he's still years away from expecting to be a franchise quarterback. I don't get
it. He looks like shit.
Oh, he looks terrible. Like, thank you, LA, for taking Goff and not Wentz and giving us the franchise quarterback instead. But he looks completely lost out there. He's a scheme fit guy. He's a guy that needs to be in a certain offense to produce. And they don't run that out there in LA, and they're just years from winning. They have no draft picks. They're going to be in a hole for a long time.
Yeah, I agree with that. Tavon Austin's extension just immediately comes to mind. Like what were they thinking about that? So that team, yeah, that's not a team you want in LA right now. That's for sure. All right, I guess we'll do final thoughts. I'm cutting this short because I am scared that our show didn't work. I'm afraid, but yeah. So we'll get your final. Yeah, dude, I got it because like you heard that thing earlier, the echoing, and I got a bad feeling about it. But maybe
my voice was getting thrown around at you when I wasn't even talking. It was like a Japanese movie.
Yeah, so I'm scared right now. But yeah, we'll do final thoughts right now.
Would you like to see what are your thoughts on how the Eagles played well yesterday, but did you like what you saw out of Carson Wentz and Doug? Do you think they're going to change anything throughout the year? What are your final thoughts on that?
Oh, I love the way Carson Wentz played yesterday. I thought it was the best game of his career because the Redskins fans were complaining that their defense sucks and all that. But what I watch for is ball placement, okay? It doesn't matter if it's tight coverage or terrible coverage. If the ball is on the money in between the numbers, then it's a good throw, okay? So if he had a wide open receiver and he throws behind him or he leads him, he doesn't put it on the proper shoulder, then that's not a good throw. So like I look at football a lot differently than other people, and I think you do the same with because like everyone wants to bring up stats. I'm like okay, yeah, sure. The offensive line doesn't always protect him, right? But I look at the throws where he is getting protected and he does have time in the pocket. Mm-hmm. Those are the throws that you evaluate. So too many times I hear like, well, he's got no weapons, he's got no this. Well, if these weapons are struggling to create separation, but he's putting the ball where it should be, then it's a good throw. Then it's a plus instead of a minus. So that's the way I always evaluate it. And yesterday I didn't see any overthrows. He didn't sail any balls. This has been a huge problem in the last month or so. So I thought he played really, really, really well. Instead of that one interception he threw, that was really the only bad throw he had and an overthrow. And besides that, he played really, really well.
I agree with you there. I listened to, after I went to the game, I always listen to the press conference afterwards and hear the callers come in and hear what they have to say. And they were ripping this kid. And for the life of me, I couldn't understand why. And this is just I don't know if it's the inexperience or people just maybe don't know what they're talking about or what they're looking at, but it wasn't this kid's fault. It's a little bit of both.
There's a reason why I don't listen to talk radio.
It was just sad to hear, man. This kid was getting ripped. They were saying he's not the answer at quarterback. We missed on him. We got to get another guy in here. And it was just like diarrhea of the mouth, just stupidity out of all these people. Like, why isn't he should have had 4 touchdowns in that game yesterday and blah, 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 blah. Like, what about all the positive things he's done? It's always the negative things and this kid gets thrown under the fire, under scrutiny, and it sucks.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. Like, every rookie goes through their growing pains. Even Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning, I think, threw more interceptions than touchdowns in his rookie year. So these sort of things are completely normal. It's the learning curve. They say it's called the rule of 5 in terms of a quarterback position, and it takes 5 years to really realize your maximum potential. And by the 5th year, that's when you really, really take off. Like Cam Newton last year, that was his 5th year in the league. He won an MVP. I believe Russell Wilson this year is his 5th year in the league, but like last year was the year where he really started to come into his own and it really took that leap forward. So like the 3rd year is kind of like when you start getting going, like Derek Carr this year. But then like the 5th year is like really when you start basically entering the prime of your career, like a baseball player where it's age 27, you know. So that's like the rule of thumb for the quarterbacks. And like seeing something like Dak Prescott this year, that is not the norm. We don't see that every day. So, you know, and for Dallas fans to complain about that and want Romo, like, God, they're even dumber than us.
It's bad, Van, and I hate to see that. And we get spoiled by the play of Aaron Rodgers and the Tom Bradys and the Ben Roethlisbergers that had success their rookie years. But you look at those guys, they had great teams around them, great defenses and established offenses already. Then that's why they had the ability to succeed early in their career.
Yeah, kind of like Dak right now, Dallas. So, yeah, that's that. All right, we're going to end the show now. I'm going to frantically check if it worked. If it didn't work, then God damn it, that sucks. But, yeah, hopefully it did. All right, that's Kyle. I'm Adrian. We're out. Peace.
See you guys.